So they now release DD2 and DD2 Masters off of the pre-grid and onto the circuit. Let's run you through the starting order for DD2 and DD2 Masters pre-final on day one. So by literally 9/1000ths of a second, the Greek Minotaur that is DJ Liveris is back here in the BNL, and he made a statement a little bit earlier on. Glenn Van Parijs, the reigning defending champion, alongside him on the front row. Paulo Besanconais, very, very good character to have, and very, very quick in his own right. Starts on row 2, alongside will be Birolart Baltics, Ragnar Virus from Estonia. It's an all-Polish row 3, with David Maslakovic and Kasper Bielecki rounding out the top 3 rows. Mick Knowlton and Maxime Derich round out the top 8, ahead of Zander Schiblak and Yannick Gussens, who make it an all-Belgian row 5 and complete the top 10. Slavomir Maransky, DD2 Masters pole, starts 11th alongside the current reigning and defending DD2 Masters champion, Rudy Champion from PKS Competition. Tom Dessert and Jordi Colon ran out the top 7 rows ahead of Henry Ayres and Carl Klebort. Fritz Say and Bruno dos Santos ran out the top 18, ahead of Jordi Klebort, Christoph Adams, Dan Zopfi and Jonathan Wimmel. So that is your 22-strong running order, and that is 11 rows, 13 minutes on the clock, plus an additional lap. Here at Karting des Fagnes, Mariembourg, for round 2 of the season. Now, the good thing is that Liveris loves this track. I know that for a fact, and we had a really good catch-up the other day, as I said earlier, when he phoned me on Wednesday when I was actually in my car, actually driving to a very, very required appointment, but good to catch up with him at that point. So 13 minutes on the clock. It's going to be down to DJ Liveris and Glenn Van Parijs to control the pace, and you can see that they are now well, Liveris is a little bit further behind than where Glenn Van Parijs is, but Van Parijs is trying to make sure that he's got a little bit in reserve, and you can see now they are bunching up as Wimmel brings up the rear. So now they are going to start filtering their way through the chicane. It is very much at a snail's pace. So we head into the tram lines for DD2. DD2 Masters pre-final here at Mariembourg. And the lights have gone out. We have gone racing, and it looks like Besanconais got a little bit of a jump on Van Parijs as they go through turn 2. It's nearly 2 by 2. Hurrah, a little bit further back, as Tom Dessert having to battle with the likes of Maxime Derich and Yannick Gussens, but DJ Liveris has kept his lead at the front of the field. Besanconais up into 2nd place, and Van Parijs just behind Ragnar Virus is down into 5th, because I've just seen it's David Maslakovic that has just gotten up ahead initially. Mick Knowlton up to P6. Actually, no, it's my apologies there. It is Virus. Hang on a second. I'm just seeing what's confirmation on my screen. Maslakovic is ahead of Virus and is closing on Van Parijs, who's trying to get past Besanconais at the moment as they go through into turn 1 on lap 2. DJ Liveris already up by 4/10 on Besanconais. Van Parijs 3rd, Maslakovic, Virus, Knowlton, Bielecki, Schiblak up into 8th as Maxime Derich has got past Tom Dessert. Zander Schiblak up into 8th ahead of Slavomir Maransky. So Maransky up from P11 into P9 in the early throws, as he can show a good turn of pace. Can Maransky. He's had a very difficult start to the season in the multiple campaigns, RMC Poland, the Euro Trophy, where he was the inaugural DD2 Masters champion, and this is his first ever season competing in the BNL karting series, but coming round to now complete what will be the end of lap number 2. Liveris, the only Greek representative here this weekend, as he will be going on to do further studies elsewhere, not in racing but in education. Very, very intelligent young man is DJ Liveris. Paolo Besançonnet holding on ahead of Glenn Van Parijs. David Maslakovic, Ragnar Virdis and Mick Knowlton round out the top 6. Zona Szyblak has now got past Kasper Bielecki from Poland for 7th. So Szyblak, who was under the same stable as Glenn Van Parijs at Proven Power, moved homes to Stampex Motorsports and has found some really good pace at times. He's getting to grips with being part of the team. He likes being in that awning, and it's a new change for him. He's looking at other opportunities to get himself a bit further up in motorsport, and he's looking at the goal as being in Formula One in the not too distant future. As it's been a bit of a difficult one for Henry Ayres, his second visit over to continental Europe. Henry Ayres, last year's Motorsport UK British Kart Championship Rotax 177 champion, currently sitting in 18th, qualified in around 15th, 16th position, but gearbox karts are a little bit different in comparison with direct drive application of Rotax 177, a category that we have over in the United Kingdom. But he is a very, very quick driver when he gets going, does Henry Ayres. Maxime Deriche and Tom Dessert have now got past Slavomir Moransky, who's still... Well, no, that means Dessert is now leading the DD2 Masters class as Mick Knowlton sends it up the inside of David Maslakovic through turn 1. Ragnar Virdis was also looking at an opportunity going through into turn 2 to get past. Yes, I think I spy with my little eye. That is possibly, there is Zona Szyblak, and Kasper Bielecki looks to be just up ahead of the Belgian. Szyblak also has Polish heritage with his surname, and there is a move there on Virdis by Bielecki. Szyblak now waiting, biding his time to try and get through. 8 minutes and 40 still to go on the clock, and Liveris has got a gap, and it's starting to extend rather nicely for the 451 for Dams Racing. So we're about to get onto another lap completed very, very shortly indeed. Lap 5 in the books, and Besançonnet now 1.355 seconds. Looks like another great move up the inside as Szyblak barnstorms his way past Bielecki, and it also looks like that is, I recognise that helmet anywhere, that is Slavomir Moransky. So Moransky's had a bit of a good opportunity to get past other drivers. Now the biggest question here is, well, that's actually Yori Collin, that's actually just up ahead. So Tom Dessert's ahead, there's Moransky. So Yori Collin actually was the one that was making the move there. I got a little bit confused because the livery on these Kart Republic chassis for SP Motorsport can look a bit too similar, but it's about trying to look at where who's got what crash helmet. And Yori Collin looks over his right shoulder. That was a good move up the inside of Slavomir Moransky on the previous tour. Liveris leads going on to lap number 7. 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Plus an additional lap still to go. And Moransky looking rather racy. And that could possibly... Now, I'm just looking to see who that is up ahead of him. Now, that is on a Cosmic chassis. As Jarne Gussens is also trying to make some hay whilst the sun shines. There's Zander Szyblak, and he is ahead of that is David Maslakovic. So looks like Kasper Bielecki's just up ahead. So Maslakovic drops down to 7th position. Virdis is right behind the Polish driver. Szyblak now sets his sights on Bielecki, who rounds out the top 5. Mick Knowlton trying to give chase to the likes of Glenn Van Parijs and Paolo Besançonnet. But Liveris now nearly has a 2-second gap between himself and Besançonnet as everyone's trying to battle for the scraps over the table. Rudy Champion has gotten past Slavomir Moransky in the meantime. And so Moransky now drops to 3rd in DD2 Masters. It's all about how Moransky actually responds accordingly. So I wonder why I was getting a bit confused there. I didn't really catch the eye of the livery of Rudy Champion's chassis there. but obviously it's good to have him with us as well. So this is the battle for second, third and fourth as Liveris again comes out of the final chicane, the 451, based out of Greece, through turn one. He's just not looked back, has he? If anyone might remember the battle royale that we had between Shriblack, Liveris and David Remy at the 2019 season finale, where we saw the lead change multiple times around karting Genk, and Liveris was definitely one of the most opportunistic drivers to send overtakes, I mean, especially when he took the lead on the very first lap going into turn two. But he's rather rapid in the dry, is Liveris. He's kept everyone in his wheel tracks. So into the last 4 minutes and 55 seconds. Van Parijs trying to pick up the pace. He's literally equal on pace with Besançonnet, but you've got to keep your eyes on Mick Knowlton. Knowlton, 2018 Euro Trophy Senior Rotax runner-up behind Hannes Morin. Knowlton has himself been successful in the likes of Senior Rotax and DD2. Here in the BNL karting series, in DD2, it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy affair with the gearbox class. With DD2, but Mick Knowlton, always good to see him and his father Noel, who've still kept their loyalty with GKS Lemons Power. And you can see here that Glenn Van Parijs trying to close in once again, as Liveris is absolutely setting the timesheets purple. He's put in a 54.915 second lap time. He's done 54s. Well, he's just put in. That's ridiculous. This is on an absolute binge of speed right now. 54.878 for the Greek driver, and he's now 2.9 seconds clear of Paulo Besançonnet, who now he knows that Glenn Van Parijs and Mick Knowlton is behind him as they go into the left-hander here. And one of the biggest things here is that I haven't really to seeing where Van Parijs and Knowlton are, because at the end of it all, you'll have that kind of awareness of, you realise, you might even have the slightest glance as they're behind us, Kasper Bielecki, who's being chased down by Zander Shriblack. So Shriblack trying to get into the top five by the end of this race. He's got just under 3 minutes plus an additional lap still to go. And at the moment, Rudy Champion, the current reigning and defending champion in DD2 Masters, is leading that class in 11th position. Now, just looking back a little bit further, well, Moransky's had a bit of a drama. He's just done a 58.4. He's had major dramas as Moransky. And what that has now meant is that Carl Klibot, who now is the points leader in the championship in DD2 Masters this season, currently running in 14th ahead of Henry Ayres. So Henry Ayres has managed to pick up the pace. He's running in the 56.1s as the Brit. Up to 6th place. They are covered by 2.2 seconds, or just over 2.2 seconds. Got just over 2 minutes to go. And Liveris is pulling away, and he's running again consistently in the 54.8. Liveris is putting the consistency in. He's treating it like a qualifying session. And if that's not a warning shot across the bow, I don't know what is, as this battle here, which has Nagnarvirus, and that is David Maslakovic from Poland in 7th, so 7th and 8th, close to being decided, but it's dependent on who wants it the most. Is it going to be Virus? Is it going to be Maslakovic? Just behind them, you've got Maxime de Riche from Sheepers Racing in the 499, and Jordi Colin from the Netherlands. Rudy Champion not too far behind them either. Well, Champion was less than half a second behind Colin in the 406. And there they are on your screens. There is Tom Dessert that has just gone through. There's the leader. DJ Liveris. And like I say, he's been running on circuits over in Greece, not too far outside of Athens and other localities, whilst they've been able to train in significantly hotter weather conditions. Yellow flags actually being waved, so I'm not too sure if there is someone that has pulled off to the side of the circuit, and that could possibly be, more than likely, Bruno dos Santos in the 5:03. Very shortly, Liveris will cross the line to start what will be the penultimate lap of the race, because the timer is just 10 seconds away from hitting 0. And Liveris bolted away like a scalded cat on a hot tin roof, and he hasn't looked back. No way will he look back. He'll look back at this race and go, yeah, that was a good one. 3.9 seconds ahead of Besançon, and it was Bruno dos Santos that did unfortunately break down. So on lap 13, dos Santos is the only driver that will not finish the race distance. Timer has hit 0 about 20 seconds ago, and we are heading into the last couple of laps. So this plus an additional one, so Liveris in about 20 or so seconds time will get the final lap board to start his final tour, and it has been one that is just like what we saw in Minimax earlier on with Petar Denkovic. Liveris has been pretty much untouchable in this race so far. So Liveris onto the final lap. Besançon 4.1 seconds behind Van Parijs and Knowlton. They are 0.3 of a second adrift. Bielecki in fifth as Slavomir Miransky's race. Unfortunately, it's dropped him all the way down to the penultimate position on the field, 21st, with Bruno dos Santos unfortunately retiring on lap number 13. But Liveris has struck whilst the iron is hot, and he makes his way through the final right-hander on the circuit before the chicane. And the sole Greek representative from Dams Racing, DJ Liveris, wins the pre-final and celebrates accordingly. Both hands off the wheel. If anyone's watched one of the after movies of the BNL karting series, he says you go on to the last lap, and then when you get through the final corner, you think of what celebration you're going to do. Well, his celebration was both hands off the wheel. I'm so glad to have that guy back in the championship, even though it might be a one-off appearance. So DJ Liveris wins in DD2, and the reigning champion, Rudy Champion, takes DD2 Masters class honours. So let's have a look through the final order of this. This is all provisional, pending any sporting and technical checks. So 2 retirements, unfortunately. Slavomir Miransky on lap number 15. Bruno dos Santos on lap 13. But DJ Liveris takes a comfortable victory from Paulo Besançon. Glenn Van Parijs rounds out the top 3, having started alongside Liveris on the front row. Mick Knowlton, good run from him. Managed to get a few positions up to 4th at the flag, ahead of Kasper Bielecki. Zana Schublak from 8th to 6th at the end of it all. David Maslakovic, Ragnar Veres, Maxime Derich and Yori Colin running at the top 10 overall. Rudy Champion in 11th, ahead of Tom de Serre, so that's the top 2 in DD2 Masters, ahead of Janne Gersens. Carl Clermont, the points leader coming into this round, takes a solid 3rd place in 14th position overall. Henry Ayres in 15th, ahead of Jonathan Wimore. Christoph Adams rounds out the top 17, ahead of Estonia's Pritsai, Jordi Clermont, and Dan Sopfi being the last of the 20 drivers that ended up finishing the full 16 laps, with Slavomir Miransky retiring on lap 14 and Bruno dos Santos on lap number 12.